very reasonable valuations, and very importantly, they can fund their own financing needs over the next several years. And if we're correct that we've got debt problems continuing to come at us, those kind of companies are going to be in a position to take market share from the companies who are less well financed and will probably suffer in that sort of a downturn environment. We want companies that make products and services that are needed more than wanted, and so that's led us into a couple of interesting areas. One of them is agriculture in Asia. We think that certainly everybody around the world needs to eat, but the reason why we have kind of an Asian slant on this is that what we see cross-culturally is that as societies move from a subsistence level of economic income to a little bit better than that, whether you call it lower middle class or whatever, people tend to spend on better quality foods, more variety in their food, and they make protein a bigger percentage of their diet. And that describes about somewhere near 2 billion people over the last few years in Asia, and I think going forward. And so there are some tremendous opportunities for some companies that are incredibly cheap that we can pick up. Most of them are not traded in the U.S. We own stocks in Hong Kong and Singapore in this, but there are a couple that are in the U.S. I can give you an example if you'd like.
Please.
One of them is a company called Seaboard, SEB. It's very, very it's a global company that's not well followed by Wall Street. They're actually based in Kansas, but one of the things that they do that I think is pretty interesting is that they source their food growing all over the world, and they've got some huge operations in Brazil, and they ship the food to where it's needed. And so one of their big lines of business is growing food in Brazil and South America and shipping it straight to China. So there's no sort of U.S. connection there other than the fact that it's a U.S. company. Had a great quarter last quarter, still very, very reasonable valuations. And we think that's a company that will be in a position to grow whatever happens in the global economy, and especially in regard to if China has a little trouble with their exports because our demand is off, that won't affect us at all.
And what do you see, because that market is so obviously growing and people are discovering their version of the middle class, what about energy? Why have we not seen more pressure on energy, given that cars are now selling at record rates in China and India?
Well, I think that China has been careful to source their energy needs in the places where we don't typically shop in the same area. So they get a lot of coal. They source a lot of coal domestically and from Australia. They get a lot of their energy imports from countries that we don't import energy from, and so clearly the global oil market has continued to be relatively strong, and then I think that's an indication of Chinese demand. Certainly the coal market prices have been a little bit stronger than others have identified, but clearly China has got a rising profile of energy consumption, but being pretty smart about sourcing it in places that won't impact the global energy markets too abruptly in the short term.
If I remember correctly, though, they just took a big position in Canadian oil shale. And so that's definitely a spot where they're playing not only in our front yard, but probably where our safest supply of energy in the future is. And so they think in terms of 100 years. The U.S. companies think about next quarter.
Well, I think we see that. So you're so right, and we see that commonly. One of the things the Chinese like to do is go to very rich resource plays and lock up very long-term contracts for resources coming out of those plays, whether it be energy or other materials, whereas U.S. companies tend to try to be a little bit more clever and buy more short-term and then get to ride with more short-term volatility in the price. I think the Chinese have a pretty good idea of that, and actually we've got an expression of that in the portfolio with a couple of iron ore plays that Chinese companies are interested in and are taking relatively long-term positions on, and we think that's going to work out really nicely for us.
Well, Tom, for people that are interested in more information about the fund, how do they reach you and how do they get more info?
Well, you can find out all about the fund at palantirfunds.com. Palantir is P-A-L-A-N-T-I-R. The fund symbol is PALIX. It's a no-load global long-short fund, and we use multiple research techniques. Portfolio. It's a fairly concentrated portfolio, and you can contact us through the website. I publish fairly often both white papers and updates, and you can sign up for those on the website as a way of kind of seeing how it goes.
Okay. In fact, his June commentary is there and has been published. Interesting reading. Tom, thank you for coming back on the show, and we'll look forward to having you on the next quarter or two.
Tim, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
And we'll be right back after these messages on winning strategies. Jan Vander Sande, Mike King, and Tim Connolly.
Are you struggling with too much credit card debt, sky-high interest rates, late fees, over-limit fees? Having trouble just making the monthly minimums? We can help. We're Credit Card Relief. We've helped thousands of people become debt-free.